Okay, let's have a little look at this. I'll do a little sketch just to illustrate it with a quick scribble over here. Just to illustrate what's going on. 1, 2, 1 along, 2 up. There's A. And then 4 along and 3 up. That's B. 4, 3. And this is A, 1, 2. And then you've got this line here coming through these 2 points, and we want the gradient of it. The gradient is like a slope, so if you think of it as a hill, and you're stood on a hill facing in the forwards positive direction, this is an upwards positive gradient. So we'll get a positive answer for the slope. It's a measure of the slope, which is any triangle under this line then will have the same ratio. The increase in y divided by the increase in x. That's the gradient. So here we customarily use the symbol m for the gradient. So for question 1 then, the gradient is the increase in y, so it's 3 from 2, divided by the increase in x, and the increase in x was from 4 to 1. So it's 1 over 3. A third. So basically for every 1 you go along, you go, for every 3 you go along, go up 1. So for every 3 you go along, you go up 1. So I hope you can see that any triangle there, like so, and you could go along, say 6, and up 2. It's the same ratio, 2 to 6 is the same as 1 to 3, so you get the same slope. So the gradient is a third, just like you climb a hill, and you have a 1 in so many ratio of a hill. Okay, so that's a positive gradient then, and the steeper it gets, the higher the gradient value, and the shallower it gets, the lower gradient value. This is quite shallow. Then it comes to flat to be 0, and then you're going to get a downwards negative slope as well, aren't you? That's illustrated in the second one. So let's do that one then. C, 2, 3. Go along 2, up 3. That would be C there, wouldn't it, somewhere? And D is 6. Go along 6. Somewhere like there, and up 1. And that would be D. So you can see that this, if you were stood on this slope, and facing forwards in the positive x direction, it's a downward slope. So you can see you'd be walking downhill. So it'd be a negative slope then, wouldn't it? Because it's a negative hill, because it's downhill. So for question 2 then, m is equal to the increase in y divided by the increase in x, 1 minus 3. You're going this direction, so 1 minus 3 is the increase in y. And you'll notice it's a downwards value, it's a negative value. And then the increase in x, 6 minus 2 from C to D. So you get minus 2 over 4, which is minus a half. So it's a negative slope in this second example. So a horizontal line has 0 slope, if you were to draw one in, because there's no increase in y, so the top number of the fraction will be 0. And a vertical slope, basically you like dividing by 0, so it's basically termed an infinite slope, because you can't divide by 0, so it's an infinite slope, so to speak.